Hello, everyone, and welcome to the First Generation Speak series, part of the 50 Years of Playback Theater celebrations. We are gathering from all around the world to honor the pioneers who shaped playback theater into what is today. These interviews are a way to celebrate their journeys, learn from their wisdom, and reflect on how playback theater continues to inspire communities across cultures and continents. We have the joy of hearing from Karin Gisler and Päivi Rahmel, two remarkable artists and teachers who have dedicated decades to growing and nurturing playback theater in Europe and beyond. My name is Cveta Balijska, and I'm joining you from Bulgaria. Some of you might know me as the organizer and host of the International Online Playback Theatre Conference in 2020 and later the European Playback Theatre Gathering live in Sofia in 2022. I am also the founder of Playback Theatre Here and Now and co-founder of Balkan Playback Theatre School affiliated with Center for Playback Theatre. This year, the next European gathering will take place really soon, and it will be from 2nd to 5th October in Salamanca, Spain. So it will be a part of the official 50-year celebrations. See you there. And I'm also a member of the board of directors of Center of Playback Theatre, and I have the honor of coordinating the global celebrations of 50 years of playback theatre. The Center for Playback Theatre, founded by Jonathan Fox, is the main institution that supports the development and quality of playback theatre training around the world. It hosts the accreditation system for trainers and schools, supports research and new initiatives, and cultivates global artistic standards and ethics in the field. Our close partner in this celebration is the International Playback Theatre Network, IPTN, the organization that connects and amplifies the work of companies and practitioners worldwide. IPTN runs international gatherings, shares resources, and supports emerging communities across continents. As a part of this milestone year, CPT is organizing a year-long international celebrations, including a series of live interviews with founders and pioneers of playback theatre like today's session, online peer supervision with trainers and practitioners from all around the world, an invitation to all playback companies globally to create performance of the theme Stories That Shaped Us. You can still join in our Facebook page. You can see information how you can join. Listening Hour, initiated by Jonathan Fox 5 years ago, and now practice worldwide, was also part of our celebrations. And of course, our global playback theatre birthday celebration on November 10th, making the month of the very first playback theatre rehearsal in 1975. All events are free and open to registration. And more information you can see in our site, playbackcenter.org, and in Facebook and Instagram, Playback Center for Playback Theatre. Before we begin, let me acknowledge the teams that make all this possible. The board of the Center for Playback Theatre: Igor Lubitov, Beata Shomuji, Radhika Jain, Sikan Chung, Deborah Scott, Damilola Putieri, Sulin Dakash, Sheo Donyu Minamo, and myself, and our partners from International Playback Theatre Network: Andrea Sandoval, Roberto, Ferran Luengo, Sheree Haley, and Kimberly Daly. And a few technical notes before we begin. This session is being recorded and will be published online. By attending, you consent to this. Please keep your microphone off during the interview, and during the questions and answers, you will be welcome to turn it on. If you want to ask a question, please write in the Zoom chat in the first part of our interview, and in the second part of our interview, you will be invited to ask your questions or reflections live. You can enable automatic translations, captions by clicking Show Captions and selecting Translations. They are automatic, but still you can have help if you need it. Our technical team is here to support you. You'll find them in the Zoom. Today's support comes from Damiola Aputieri and Igor Lubitov. Thank you both. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our speakers. Karin Gisler, presenting German-speaking countries. She's born in Zurich, Switzerland. Karin fell in love with playback theater in 1989 and graduated from the New York Playback Theater School in 1994, alongside Kayo Munakata, Veronika Needa, and Josef Paradi. She founded and directed the first professional playback company in Switzerland, Playback-Theater Zürich. Karin served the board of IPTN and the German-speaking Playback Theater School and has taught in over 20 countries. Today, she performs solo playback with her husband and musician Yakov Gisler. Päivi Rahmel from Finland is a master of storytelling and group process. She is a creator of transformative spaces, a coach in communication, a guide in self-awareness, and a specialist in both psychodrama and playback theater. Her work is rooted in narrative and systematic thinking, artistic expression, and embodied learning. She is the organizer of one of the first international European playback theater gatherings in 1993 in Rautalampi, a small village in the middle of Finland. Päivi believes in the power of creativity and presence to awaken human potential. And now, with great honor, please welcome. Hello, ladies. So happy that you're here with us.
Happy to be here and happy to see some really dear faces there. And happy to see some new faces as well.
Yes.
I'm very excited and it's so nice to be a bit nervous.
I'm so happy that you both are here. And in our previous conversation, you started to explore different topics between you. It was so interesting. So I'm eager to start with your journeys. I will start with Karin. Could you share your first encounter with playback theater and what made you fall in love with it back in 1989?
So at that time, I was doing children theater. We had an ambulant theater and we were traveling to schools and hospitals, which was at that time something new too. And we had a fixed piece with big scenery. It all fit into a little car. So that was all very nice. But I was at that time also in a meditation Sufi camp. And I had this idea, I want to do something more which involves the audience. But I had no clue. And then a cousin of mine, Yvonne Parma, told me there is this guy in America, Jonathan Fox. He invented something you might like. And sometimes he travels to Europe. And imagine this was the time, no internet. So you couldn't just Google Jonathan Fox. So I made a lot of phone calls and I found out that in the end, he would give a workshop with Alfred Hohmann in Germany. And I find out the telephone number of this Alfred Hohmann. I went to this workshop. And then why do you fall in love? Can you really explain it? I don't know. But it was just the right thing at the right moment. And this idea of improv, having the audience with me, doing something new also, which to my knowing hadn't been done before. And then, of course, you all know Jonathan Fox. You can't resist him, no, eventually. So that's how I fell in love.
Oh, thank you. Maybe
it's until now, it's my longest standing love affair I have with playback theater. Yeah.
If someone from our audience here have memories with Karin, please write them, especially if they are in those early years. It would be really nice. If you want, you can write them in the chat. Päivi, what first drew you into playback and what were these first moments that shaped your artistic path?
Well, it was kind of an accident. It was Psychodrama Association that organized the first course, and invited me to be a host there. And there were some people from Finland who traveled to Perth to study psychodrama, and Deborah Pearson had given a workshop at Playback Theatre, and one of them came and said that we have to see this. And then Deborah came, and I promised to take care of that it doesn't stop there. And ever since, it has taken me to all these wonderful places and spaces and stories and all lovely things. And I went to the Sydney conference of Playback Theatre, and I was totally blown by all the creativity that was happening there. And ever since, I fancied Australian style of doing playback theatre, and we have tried to somehow copy something of that and then find our own way. And I share also the love of Jonathan's style was like a hit into my heart, and there are some really important things that still are really alive for me, what Jonathan delivered or shared already there.
Yeah, we have an interview devoted to Australians, so they share some things there. So if someone haven't seen it, it's in our YouTube. And Karin, you graduated from the New York Playback School in 1994 alongside Kayo Munakata, Veronika Needa. What are your strongest memories from that time, and how did this experience shape your practice?
Well, the strongest memory didn't necessarily shape my practice, or I don't know. But one of the strongest memories were that it was situated in a beautiful spot, and in the free time, there was a waterfall close by. And we went there skinny dipping, and we were mostly women in the course. So that was another way of bonding. We all were, taking swims naked in this beautiful waterfall. But another strong thing that was also in early encounter with playback, I had the chance to be internationally in contact with people. So from the beginning, there was this thing that, oh, wow, it's all over. And I somehow want to have it in my country as well. So that was really nice. And from this move, and then also in 95, an international women's group went to the International Forum on Women in Beijing, which was a huge gathering from thousands of women from all the globe, political agendas, social agendas. And we had a group of women who said, we're going to go and offer the women playback theater. And that was also a result of this international connectivity, which was, of course, crazy and fantastic. Yeah.
Mm. And Päivi, what are your first memories from the early years?
Well, it was these trainings in New Paltz and then in Vassar. And it feels quite funny because we were there together with Karin, so that we are still here together, sharing what started then. And it was this, because I live in a small country here back north, and the whole world suddenly opens for me in the way that really touched my heart. I couldn't believe, or somehow in deep of my heart or somewhere, I felt like this is something I have always longed for, that people can be together like this, with this size of freedom and truth and joy. So it was wonderful time and very sort of energizing, and giving these visions to your head. What will I do with this new thing that I have found?
And Karin, you founded and directed the first professional playback company in Switzerland. And what were the biggest challenges and breakthroughs in building a playback community in a German-speaking context?
Well, one of the challenges was getting people, because this was new. I even found it difficult to explain. I mean, it's still sometimes difficult to explain for people who don't know, but how do you find people to form a group? So I basically told everybody, and we had a first meeting with people who didn't have acting skills, who just were curious, who were my friends. So that was one challenge. And then the other challenge, as we started to form a group, it was this split between, in playback, your friends, you share your stories, but I also eventually, first I was the secret leader, as many of us are, and I took a lot of supervision to deal with the group. And then I wanted to be the official leader, but then with leadership and being friends, it's a tricky rope to walk. So that was another challenge. And then, as I mentioned, group processes. I mean, all of you have a lot of experienced playbackers here on the screen. I don't need to say more. And then one big challenge that was in the community I was in, because I was coming from the theatrical part. I was influenced by Deborah Pearson, Bev Hoskin, Francis Baton. So all the Australian playbackers who thought playback was basically theater. But in the German-speaking world, many psychodramatists and psychologues took playback, and they had another approach. And I wanted it to be artistically beautiful, and I wanted to make money with it. I said, I want to do this professionally. I love it. So there were some clashes in the beginning. The Germans, some of them were not so happy about my approach, and I was not so happy about theirs. So in the beginning, that was, a bit tricky to manage. But in the years, this has all resolved. But that was the beginning.
Mm. Yes, and Päivi, your work involves creating group processes and narrative learning spaces. How do you see playback theater's role in supporting personal and collective transformations?
Well, I think it's a wonderful tool, and for me, it has also given my work in doing that. But it depends. My background comes from pedagogy, and it comes from therapy, and it comes also from art. But I wasn't an actress or director in theater, so because I have that background, then I am quite often in situations where I am asked to deal with some problems or to help people to create growth processes or organizations having something in their developmental work, and I am being invited there. And even if I have not offer them a performance, then in my way of working, we use stories, we use action, we use art, and I think it is amazing possibility. It is wonderful that still, like I had a longish training with headmasters in Finland, and they were just blown, like I was in the beginning, of the power of playback, and how is it possible that we can just dive into the deep waters so quickly and share something that really matters. And that's why I think it is great way, much more than just talking, but also then if you use it intentionally for transformation, then you have to have some theory or professional background in what happens in those processes and how you build up them so that people are feeling safe, and then when they are safe, then they can be very creative as well and take risks with these new methods that for many people are still new. It's amazing. Mm.
Yeah. Can I add one more challenge, which I remember listening to you, Päivi, that was actually starting to perform. We trained for 2 years because we were afraid to do it.
Yes,
We
yes,
thought we never not good enough. How can we impose ourselves to the audience? And then finally, we invited Deborah Pearson for a training, and she was in shock when she heard that we were rehearsing weekly and we did weekends and never performed. So she kicked us and said, in performing, you will learn as well. So do it. But yeah, to get the courage and to the bravery to do it, and to maybe not do it yet in a nice way because you're not experienced yet. So I found that was a big challenge from the beginning as well.
Well, Deborah took us also during the very first courses in Rautalampi, also to school where somebody had died. So it was quite a difficult situation, and she was just, oh, we go there, and it went well. But we also felt like we need a lot of training, and in the early years we were able to invite all these wonderful people from States and from Australia mainly. And Jonathan saved my career maybe sometimes when he came to the conducted training and helped with the group process, because I wasn't capable for that in the beginning. But support with this community, I grew to be a professional, which I think I am today.
Yeah, and you also organized one of the first European playback theater gatherings, and Karin said she has amazing memories from this event. Please, if someone from the people that you are here, write in the chat if you have been in this event in Finland in 1993.
It was called Midnight Sun Conference, a playback theater, because we didn't have a night at all. Sun doesn't go down here during some part of the year, and it was happening then. And it is quite amazing. Yeah, please, Karin.
Finnish people have such a, or you, but I think it's typically Finnish, you have such a sense for ritual and beauty. And it was also so aesthetical what you did, you know, like a big table outside, well set, everybody sat at this table and was eating. And someone came on a white horse, and it was just mesmerizing. It was, yeah, very deep and very beautiful at the same time.
And Päivi, how you decided to do it? I mean, was it the right moment for you, and did you have a company in this moment to support you?
It was again Deborah Pearson who invited me to the Sydney conference, and there, before I went there, she said that, well, I will suggest that you will organize the next one. And then I went there, which was also a journey of a lifetime. And then I have a possibility to organize it, and I was supported with my own group by that time, Magic Mirror, and then Tampere Playback Theatre Group, and then some other people. It was also part of this naivety that you didn't know how big work it is, or what all kind of things come up when you organize things like that, but it was wonderful.
And Josa was saying in the chat that she was there, and that it was actually the second international conference.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And,
Jeffrey was there. Yeah, I remember
and how
him.
many people were?
A little bit more than 100, and from 20 countries already then. So it was magical. And for us in Finland, it gave a boost to all what then came after that.
Yes, these events are really important. It was the same with us in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And Karin, did you had international gatherings in your area?
No, we organized the German-speaking gathering, which then was Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, but we never had a big one, like international. I mean, Switzerland, it's just very expensive. Let's face it. I think that was one of the reasons why we never did it.
Yes, yes, of course. And now you are performing solo with your husband, Yakov Gisler. Could you share more about this format and how it differs from working with a full company?
Well, it emerged by an emergency. I got a request from a client, and none of my actors, neither musicians, could attend. And then I had this crazy idea. I think it was in the 2000 something or 1999, yeah, to do it alone, even without musicians. So I was really adventurous then. And it went well. As we know now, playback, it goes well in the most dire circumstances. No, sometimes very and you think no, but it works, so it worked. But then for a while I let it go, and then I had this other thing, yeah, that my life changed. I'm traveling more. I do less playback in the company, and then yeah, I did it. I started to do it, but I always take a musician with me. So I would at this point never go without musician. And the nice thing, I mean, you can do everything you want. You don't need to be a team player, I mean, with the musician, but that's another story. But you also have the full responsibility at any second. You can not let go. If you have a show for 60 minutes or 90, you're on. So that's really, and sometimes you have a story and you're thinking, oh, it would be nice to have a partner to play. So these are, I think, the two things. And you have to be a really feel comfortable as a conductor as well, because you switch roles very fast. No, you are a conductor, then you go on stage, you're back to being a conductor. So you juggle a lot of things, and I think it's something for experienced playbackers. I wouldn't recommend it to someone who is new.
Yeah, and Päivi, yeah,
So
and
we
Yeah.
have very different ways with Karin, because I have stayed now with this group Foxtrot for 30 years with the same group, even though of course some people have changed during this time. And I also choose to mainly teach in Finland for various reasons, but then it has made some strong continuity here in Finland. But I am happy that I have had these wonderful international connections.
I'm happy to say our company still exists and we still perform, but it's in a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
I think maybe I add, you asked me, Zveta, the things about the big company. I still think to see a team doing it, it's the most magical thing for
yes.
me. Still, to see actors collaborating with the musician, and if it goes well, I'm still, when it goes well, I'm still in awe. You know, I think I would prefer the team to the solo shows, really. Because it also, I think it's also more the original ideas from our founders. No, it's about the group doing something for another group. So I would say, yeah, that's definitely my favorite, to see a well-working team. If the team doesn't work well, I still suffer. And then we don't open the question, what is a well-working team and what is good enough playback? That's another big theme.
Yes, and in the chat, Josephine Krum say that in 1994, I heard from the director of a theater in Zurich, Bernhard Theater, that there was a new group in Zurich that would also go on stage wearing only black clothes and without props. At that time, I knew nothing about playback theater, Josephine wrote. Nice. Really nice. And you both taught internationally. Could you reflect on what it means to teach playback across different cultures and countries, and what you have learned from those exchanges?
Well, of course, it is an opportunity that this world offers, and it is an opportunity to see different kind of ways to live and different values. It is very teaching for the teacher. But my experience of teaching abroad is much smaller than Karin's. Like I said, I chose differently. I stayed, yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think you have to be really grounded in yourself and yet flexible. Flexible mentally, psychically, but also methodically, because you work with translation. And then I remember I was with Jonathan Fox in Burundi, and Jonathan was explaining an exercise, and the translator translated the exercise, and they were doing something completely different. And I told Jonathan, we must tell them how to do it right, and that's not correct, and na. And Jonathan was just saying, look, as long as they do something, they will still learn something else. So I think that captures it quite well. So that's one aspect. And then another aspect was adapting to circumstances. We had after 1 week, we were there for 2 weeks, but then we left. So we wanted to give them the experience of doing a performance and the conductor to do a performance after 2 weeks of playback training. I mean, it sounds quite crazy, but yeah, that was the fact. So people tend to play back with very little training, and it went well. I mean, they had people telling stories. The enactment and the conducting was a bit raw, but it worked. So that's another thing, that you have to maybe adapt your standards a bit, and your ideas, what's the right thing. And lately also, I think, I remember we wanted to do a show, but then this hall was occupied. And in Africa, I mean, you don't have just 30 people coming. No, if the village is interested, you have 200 people coming. So we didn't have a space. So we had to wait 2 hours until this other event was over. And then eventually we could do our show, but people are used to wait. So for me, with Swiss punctuality, that was also a good learning process, no? Like to really navigate the process and somehow, as I said, wanting to do what you want to do, but still navigating it. So it's great learning. It's yeah, different cultures, different ideas, different use of playback also. I mean, India, it's used for the social reinforcement of Dalit people, for example. But it's also used, like I did, to play for firms and to make money. So there is a vast range internationally. Yeah.
Mm. And Päivi, what about your specific way or the things you found in playback theater during practice? Something that you observed and experienced specifically in your practice?
Well, like I said, that first I was really eager to learn from Australian people because the theater wasn't so strong in me. So I felt like there is most to get from that. But then for me, this ritual is very important, and I like this how Jonathan has said that it's a ritual for our time, and I feel it is a sacred place to take people through that, and I take it very seriously. In that way, that it is important for me to be really authentic and open to these miracles that can happen. Like Karin just said, that when it works well, it is magical. So that's important for me to offer this possibility to people to be connected in a very deep way and in a special way with different themes. And I feel like it is an never stopping adventure. Like when you do playback, you will be surprised one time after another, also in your personal life. Like now I feel that I moved to another city in Finland. This is a smaller city where I was born. And now I found out that I'm living on the street between two little theaters. And of course, I get this idea that, okay, now this has been my dream for years, that there would be a theater that would regularly give performances in playback theater. So let's see if I am able to make this come true, that we would have a small, nice theater in the city that officially offers playback theater as part of their program.
Wow, is it something current? Now it's happening?
Yes, just happened. And and I feel that this happened with playback theater. These miracles started to happen to me, all kind of funny surprises that you can't order and fix for yourself, but they are treasures, gifts from universe. But you learn to see them, you learn to accept them, you learn to sort of take hold of them and work for them, develop them. And then something lovely will come out. Like today, I went to a flower shop, and then I started to speak with the owner. And then she, yeah, we need community spirit here. Yeah, please do something. Okay, this is a good sign that maybe there is a time and space for this kind of a thing.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, I can add to this, Pav. I met my husband through playback theater. And meanwhile, there are a lot of playback couples. So
Yeah.
that's also quite an amazing outcome.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me.
We have a lot in Bulgaria too. We have playback theater babies too. So
Oh, yeah, that's
all
great.
around the world.
Even
Yeah,
though sometimes I feel that it's good that my life is also have something else than playback theater or psychodrama.
And
yeah,
also, I find I have friends from playback, no?
Yeah.
Very dear friends. I mean, some of them are here on the screen with me. So that's and even though I don't have friends, even so, another thing is that when I go to conferences, maybe we are not friends, but it's so nice to meet the community again. So that's another nice and surprising thing. Like, yeah, especially if you're very old.
yes. One of the gifts of playback, getting older with lovely people from all around the world. I love this part. And let us say a few words about this main and I don't know main, but really important role in playback theater conducting. And you both have a huge experience with it. So please say a few words about what is important in your view for this role.
Well, I think it's many things, but I came up actually by witnessing many performances abroad and or wherever. But what I see is that conductors are very nice with the teller. They're very tuned in to the teller, but they are afraid to frame the whole thing, to interrupt and to shape the show or the performance or however you call it. And even though it's a social thing, it might be not a show in the classical sense, but Yoke, who's on the screen, she says, when the storytelling goes too long, the audience starts to make the shopping lists. No, and the actors they kind of go, oh, the story's never going to end. What are we going to play? So that's, I think, is a very important skill, which is often missing. And it's very often cultural. People say it's not allowed, it's not polite to interrupt people. And you asked what I teach my students. I teach them to do it. I mean, there are technical tricks how you can support interrupt somebody by touching the person. Then the person knows, and other things you do, how you sit, how you watch. And then you have to train and overcome this thing like indulging and just wanting to be with the teller. Yeah, you don't only have the teller, you have the audience and the actors and musicians to take care of. So
Yes.
that's my speech to that one. So I'm curious, Päivi, what's yours?
Well, I start from the very beginning, like that I want my students to be really rooted and connected to themselves, to be aware their strengths and to be aware their shadows, to be aware how they communicate and what effect does that have in other people. Because without that, you don't dare to be presence and you don't dare to face whatever comes in the audience. And I think when you have that peace in yourself, you just give it to the audience, that they suddenly they just feel safe. It's a quick situation where you have to create this space where it's possible to tell deep stories. So conductor needs to be very quick and at the same time with lots of space. And if you are not rooted to yourself, then you are in trouble.
Also as an actor or musician, no, the musician maybe they can hide better, but
Yeah, but actors have the same. Yeah. And if that's clear, then all these group phenomena doesn't happen so quickly or so obvious, like people project different things to each other and the story is going to be somewhere else that it was meant to be. But when you can be really open to it, and then you can also be in that unknown space where the story develops somehow itself in the communication with actors.
And how do you balancing between the foundation we all have and the innovations and or adapting in today's world? Because now with all the social media, it's our mind. It's really working differently than decades before. So we need in a way to adapt. Do you adapt it or you use it? With Karin, we understood that she do something really different, like solo or a different kind of. But other things, do you adapt or you most use it in a, let's say, classical way?
I think it's two questions to me now you're posing, because one, as I understood the question, is like the key values. And one is the kind of technical part. Do we perform in group? Do I perform in solo, duo? And I think talking about the values, I think they are more important than ever, as I understand the value of playback theater, which is creating a space for us to listen and to tell, even under difficult circumstances, and to respect each other as humans with our personal human story. And for me, this is a key value, and I don't need to adapt it. I need to keep it. I feel like it gets much more challenging to keep it nowadays, because we are also influenced what happens around us with all those wars and social changes. So my answer would be not to lose the vision, to keep it and not to distort it. I don't know. Yeah.
And somehow I feel that this flood of information is overwhelming. So it's really important to give something where you really concentrate on just this, what is happening here. And I want to keep alive doing stories, because sometimes some playback theater groups invent so many forms that the forms become a reason for itself, and then it loses the essence. I remember years back when Jonathan was conducting one performance using only story and fluid sculptures, and I thought, okay, it was a wonderful show. I don't need these constantly changing forms. I need the essence of the story and also the talent to do them well. It is not easy to do them well, to make all these scenes and make it precious or diamond-like. It's
Yes,
easier
we
to
do.
do short forms than a story.
We sound like the old people, don't we? But I totally agree with you.
But also then of course, I feel that we are in a very crucial moment now. That we used to, at least I used to think that this is such a wonderful kind of world that it will solve everything. And we can, we can listen each other and accept each other. And now we are in a very new situation where the conflict is so huge that we start fighting with each other. And that is devastating, but also I think that we will find something new. It will change the thinking in a way. I hope that this will bring us something valuable new.
And you both have been part of playback theater world for decades. What changes have you observed in the global playback community from the time you began until now?
Well, like
Well,
for me, it has been mainly friends meeting friends. And if there's a conflict, it is just something that we can work with or face. But now these conflicts between Palestinian and Israeli, it is, or Ukraine and Russia. And when they are happening now, it's really difficult to know what would be wise. I have heard great stories about using playback after the war, and then people have been able to tell their stories from their viewpoint, and that has been great. But what to do when it's happening? Is it ready for discussion or dialogue? I don't know yet, but hopefully some of us, the new generation, will find the way to stand with all of us.
yeah, when we started, we had a booklet with the address lists. No internet, it was a booklet. So you looked up in the booklet if you wanted to meet somebody. So it was much smaller, in a way, a smaller community. And yeah, this bombardment by news, by which we also have to live through in our private life. Yeah, it also affects us as playbackers. And I can totally understand if a group decides we want to meet without being inclusive to other groups, let's say Ukrainian, Russian, whoever, women, men, transgender people, if they decide we need a space for us. And you mentioned it too, Päivi, what I find painful is sometimes when we start to point to others because they don't do what we want them to do. And yeah, that's for me not a nice place to be. And yeah, so for me, that it's really about finding ways of dialogue. That's how we make peace eventually. And I get that not always there is the right time for a dialogue, but for me, the ultimate goal, the ultimate vision is to dialogue, to meet, and not to agree necessarily. I mean, I'm living in democracies, we don't agree, we fight for our opinion, and I'm telling my friend, you're stupid, how could you vote this way? And he thinks I'm stupid, but we're still friends, we're still all connected. So, and I think now opinions become like swords which cut friendships. And I think an opinion, it's a pity, it's actually just an opinion.
But like in Finland, the politician has also changed to this right-wing direction, which feels difficult for me. But it also gives this boost for maybe we should go and have performances about social themes or themes that are connected with politics, like somebody said here, that we would act after big decisions that are made in our countries.
I mean, there is this great initiative, no, from HEAT, from this group who really focuses on social justice and playback theater. So I think that's something that came out of this whole thing, which I think that's a great thing.
It's a great
As
thing.
long
And
as we
also-
don't, as we still keep the contact to those who have another view on things.
and it needs knowledge. You have to study that to be able to do it.
And Karin, you have been involved in the International Playback Theater Network in German-speaking school. What is your wish for the next generation of playback leaders?
Oh, what is my wish for? Wow. Yeah, I wish firstly that they go on doing playback like we old ladies do, you know, that they don't stop. They keep the flame on, they keep on being inspired. And then I wish that they don't lose the roots, like Päivi was mentioning, like inventing 50 forms and losing, for example, the storytelling form. That's something I see, and I think it's the basic form, and a company should, in a performance, do 1 or 2 long form stories. So not to lose the roots and the values in playback. And yeah, to keep reaching out, to maybe think out of your box, artistically, socially, to connect yourself, to go to meetings, to invite trainers, to be open to be part of the world still, and not starting to be like this.
Hmm.
And ultimately to stay in love with playback and do it, I think, and have a place to share their stories.
And Päivi?
I have the same feelings or same ideas, like dig deep, keep the good roots and fly high. Be open to this world and do what is needed and do it with skill. I think that that's also important. Even though playback works in funny situations where people have not learned almost anything, but they are sincere and want to reflect back, they succeed also then. But keep learning, and it's good that school exists and people have a possibility to go somewhere and learn. And I see here a comment when Volodymyr says that in Ukraine, for example, it's currently impossible to do completely non-political performances. So we can learn from these people. It is like we can enrich our understanding from these people who have to do it in difficult situations.
Yes, he is writing in general the theme, and then the red thread of the performance are both not biased, but by the real society.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
and I think to stay, I mean, it's really painful for me when I see that as a community we stop to be connected. We start to, and yeah, I grew up in the 60s, 70s, you know, the hippie time, and let's make love, not war. Yeah, I still hope that we keep the respect for each other as human beings, which, yeah, even though we might not agree.
yes.
And remember also that if there is a country that does something awful, so not all of the people who live in that country are doing that. It's sometimes different to differentiate.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And is there new playbackers here? And if so, please write in the chat. And what would you give as a message to the young playbackers around the world about sustaining the artistic and social commitment? What would you say to the really new playbackers around the world?
Do it, get training from the source as long as you can also. Yeah, that would be my tip.
And feed your passion. Like it's, I think this is a thing you have to do with, or you can do with your passion. It's important not to lose that.
Yes, and we are about going to the breakout rooms, but before that, I want to give opportunity if someone from the people live with us want to say something or give some memory or reflection before the breakout rooms. You can do it now. Of course, you have the opportunity after also. But if someone feels that now is the moment to say or to reflect on something, please, I give this opportunity now. Yeah.
Thank you. Karin, do you remember us?
Of course. How can I not
Yeah.
remember you?
Greetings to
Hi,
Yakov.
Rodney.
Yakov.
Hi. I will
I'm
tell him
here
he's
in this
somewhere
institute
around.
where this is our first and second training group. Yeah. Nice to see you. Very.
Nice to see you. And my heart is with you people.
Thank you. Thank you, Karin.
Yeah, thank you, Volodymyr.
Okay, I'd love to say something. Retta.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Damilola.
Hi,
And
Damilola.
Karin.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? Hello. Hi
I'm
there.
good.
So one thing stood out for me from what Karin said, and Päivi, sorry. One thing stood out for me from what Karin said about procrastinating in terms of when to start the performance. And it stood out for me because this is something that I've been dealing with for years. Looking for the perfect time to start, looking for the perfect number of ensemble member to start. For years, we've been doing close performances with internally displaced person, even though the major thing, let me turn off the light, sorry. The main thing I've always wanted to do is to introduce a public performance. And then just yesterday, I got angry in my spirit and I told myself, November 1st, 2025, I am going. So I went online, created a Twitter account for the ensemble part of organization, created a TikTok account, created a poster. Each time I sleep off, I wake up I have an idea from my sleep. I wake up, I just do it online till I woke up. So it actually resonated with me that sometimes as actors, we always playbackers, we want to wait for the right moment to start, but there's never a right moment. The right moment to start is just by starting. Thank you so much for emphasizing that, Karin.
And we want to hear how it's going. Yeah, you share with us. Our first performance was quite difficult. We had a teller standing up and saying, after 10 minutes, she said, "Is this going the whole show? Are you going this for now 1 hour? It's horrific. It's terrible." And it was my first show to conduct. And somehow Jonathan and Joe and all the holy playback spirits were behind me. And I asked the teller, "How is it for you to see such a bad show?" And she said, "It's terrible. I have to leave." So the actress played for her how terrible it was. And she stayed the whole show. And she came even back. So be prepared. Many things can happen.
Yes, of course. So such a great dialogue we have here, guys. So now we'll go to the breakout rooms. So we'll see you in 15 minutes. Enjoy. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you had a meaningful time in a breakout rooms. And now it's time to hear from you, your memories, your questions or your reflections. Now, of course, if you are part of the society, either or Finland Society or German-speaking Playback Theater Society, please welcome and say a few words, present yourself, or if you are from the region, welcome. And it would be really nice to hear your voice and your story. So this is a moment for you. Yeah. Welcome, Jan. Yeah. You want to say something? No.
Randy
Okay.
raised his hand.
Thank you. Sveta, thank you so much, and the Center for Playback Theater for organizing this. This is the first of the 50th year series that I've attended. Karin Päivi, thank you so much for your wisdom and your generosity, not just today, but for over the years. I just want to remind both of you, though you may identify maybe as older physically, your ideas are so fresh and so young and so alive right now and relevant. I just want to thank you and appreciate you both deeply.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And Fabi, do you want to say that your memory of what you said before?
Yeah, so I'm not from the European part of the world, but I would say that Karin has greatly influenced the work that we do here in the Philippines. As I was saying before, after the breakout, Karin's performance really had an impact on me. When she visited the Philippines, they invited us. They heard that we were doing playback theater without training, but she just invited our group on their performance at the House of the House of the Ambassador. And I saw her performance, and I was like, really, from then on, I made it a point that we will continue on doing playback, because at that time we were just experimenting. But when I saw Karin's and her group's performance with Ella, I said, this is really the kind of theater that I have to be doing. So I'm really, really very grateful to Karin. Coming all the way from Switzerland.
Yeah, Karin, you have been to really different places. Can you name some of them? Maybe not all of them, but
well,
name
I
some.
just would like to recall a memory from the Philippines, which was so nice. We were performing, and in Philippines, like in many countries, food is very crucial. But contrary to many countries, it's omnipresent. So during the performance, someone had prepared beautiful plates with food, and they would come in and offer the food to the audience and to us on stage. So it's my first time. I ate something and then we continued playing. So that was so much fun. It was so heartwarming. And then I learned it's part of the culture. Wherever you are, you prepare food and you share it in every given moment. So very nice. Yeah, and I have, of course, been many places like Afghanistan, Burundi, Cuba, Russia. Yeah, many. Yeah, I was very lucky to travel so much with playback and to visit so many people. India, I've been several times with Claire, who does great work in India. Yeah.
Yeah. Nike?
Yes. Yes. Hello, Karin. Hello, Päivi.
Hola, Nike.
Yes. And I'm very happy to see both of you. And I really appreciate what you said about getting friends all over the world. And for me, you know, seeing you on the screen, I remember some of the personal meetings we have had, you know, Päivi in the jungle in Brazil or something like that. yes. And Karin, many places where we met and talked about personal things. And that is what is, I think, the most golden gift in my life, that I met you and other people through playback. But especially today, I also was very happy about your conversation about making peace, or making, not peace in our community, because I think it has been a bit difficult lately. And I really appreciate you giving thought to the idea of having a democratic conversation without the claim of being of agreement, because we are, when you look at the earth and the world, we are somewhere where we cannot agree, all of us right now. But for me, it's an offense to think that we should, not allow everybody to be part of the community, if you understand what I mean. So I'm very, very happy that I now witness a conversation about these things that had another aim. So thank you for that. I hope we can go further of this road very much. So I hope to see you again in real life. I love people, you can touch and smell and all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I say something to this, Nickes, that I remembered again something Jonathan once said, that the more love is there, the more difficult situations you can handle. And even though our love is not enough to hold the whole world, but it's important to keep the somehow trust to that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Claire,
Paul.
welcome.
Thank you.
Claire, you need to
Claire
unmute.
Therese. Yeah.
Yes, sorry. I just want to say about my experience being in Sri Lanka after the war, because we were speaking about difficult times. It was conceived by Symbol in Bueller and Karin. We were all in the team. Yeah. So playing with two different groups separately and coming together, I think it made a very big impact on those participants and us also. So it was a difficult moment after the war, very sensitive, and we were all groomed a few days before we started the training. Yeah, that was very interesting. And for us in India, somehow playback theatre is connected with social justice. It's something comes out with the storyteller. What is in subconscious is always an issue based, which is an individual story, but it connects to the system. And it's very interesting because what we learned from Jonathan Fox, the values, the core values, has been repeated by Karin and other teachers who promoted that. And we don't use many forms. We stick to the basic forms. Yeah. And thanks to Jonathan and Joseph and all our teachers, and especially Karin. Yeah, last week we had a very good playback performance, all men playing for women.
Nice.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
And I mean, Claire, you're a cornerstone, for playback. I mean, you don't give up. You do it in the most dire circumstances. You travel hours and hours to teach people. You're really a shining star in this.
Thank you.
And Jonathan, you have been mentioned several times. Is it okay for you to share your reflections from the moment, or what is your
Well,
feeling?
I have many memories of course, as I listened to Päivi and Karin today, and you know, it would take too much time, and it's important to listen to other people. But I'm very happy to be here and happy to hear the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And please, others, welcome. Oh, I cannot read this name. Please welcome who's raising the hand.
Bérangère, no?
Bérangère, that's French.
Bérangère,
That's difficult.
French name.
Yeah, when I was living in England, they called me Bernie because Bérangère, it's too difficult to say. I want to celebrate because I'm going to have the opportunity to leave a workshop with Jonathan in 2 weeks in Montpellier. So I belong to the organization. So I'm really happy to celebrate that. And in 2 days, I'm starting to form myself to build a playback company where I come from, close to Avignon. Yeah, that's I felt that playback needs to be in my life, but it's so important to be connected to other people, and that's the fact for the company in Montpellier. But I think there is another opportunity when you can connect on the international. So I'm going to Spain at the beginning of October for the international meeting too. So yeah, I want to celebrate and to thanks about all the opportunity to be connect and to play together. And yeah, I'm really I feel really lucky to met Jonathan in few weeks, because that's going to be between the 14th to the 16th of October. Right. Thank you very much for
Thank you so much.
these things, and to be able to connect to so many countries. That's, yeah, that makes me just think that, what do you think about create an international playback group who could run into the world for for them who have the opportunity? I will love that. That would be my dream. I just send a seed. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie. Yeah, and Sabine, welcome.
Thank you very much for just let me talk a bit. I'm a very much newcomer in playback theater. I just finished my basic course in Hamburg next week, but I attended the International Playback Theater Camp in Georgia, near Batumi, in August, and there I got to know Karin and Yakov and some others. And I'm really interested in the whole community, because since I can sing, I'm interested in having international contacts with people, and not only via Zoom, but really to hug, to talk together, to laugh together, to talk, always talking. And I really like what you said. I'm really grabbed by, is it the right word? My English is not that good. By playback theater, because I was doing a lot of intercultural pedagogics and things, and teaching German as a language for adults who come to Germany, and have a lot of I like the contact with people, and I like to travel, but I come from the East Germany. It's only since 1990 that I can travel. And I've been to many places, and now to connect it with playback theater, this is like my pioneer camp when I was a child, and this is a little bit for me coming to my roots and still learning every day something. And I'm going on with learning playback theater in Berlin up from October. The next course is coming, and it will lead me to my last stage of life. In 5 years, I hope to stop having to work for earning money, and then I don't know, retired. Yes, and then I have time to do playback theater. Until then, I will be also I will have learned a lot from Karin, from all of you. And I really want to congratulate for the whole thing you have done till now. And the playback community in the world should not allow somebody to destroy what you people have built up over the years. It has to be filled with life by young people, and we are fighting together for this, for peace and understanding. And I'm also a like Karin from the 60s, flower power, you know. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much, Sabine. Thank you so much. And I also want to invite people. There are people here that also are founders of their societies. Sin was mentioned, Jan is here, Yoke was mentioned, and she's here. So can we hear you a few words from you for your journey? Sin, please.
Yes, I was sitting and sort of warming up to say something, and maybe, you know, Jan and I happened to end up in the same breakout room, just the two of us. And it felt like, you know, not a waste of time, but you know, we can talk after. So I could really feel the longing to connect. And by listening to Päivi and Karin, and so much resonates. It's like it could almost be my and our story. And I was also at Vassar in '94. So I met both Päivi and Karin, and actually I don't want to be like a kind of a party spoiler, but I think you took leadership in '95, Karin. Because I remember there was an issue that you had been doing playback for long or for a while, and you were really eager, and you were
I was very mad at Jonathan and Joe.
you were a bit pissed off that you were not allowed.
Not only a bit, I was really angry.
Okay, okay, you say it yourself. So, but I felt this, oh my God, because I was so new. But I had sort of, you know, I didn't have the possibility to learn until the year before. And at that time, there was no rule that you had to be part of a group for 5 years or something to do leadership. So I sort of got a flying start, almost starting with leadership before having much experience. But it was such dynamic energy and atmosphere in both in our leadership group, and also the fact that the two groups were there together. And my first memory of you, Karin, is you standing up on your hands or something, doing a yoga pose on the grass. And I was thinking, oh my God, what a free spirit. How lovely.
Sine, how many years are now you're practicing playback theater?
Well, it started in '93 then, so the year before.
You're also a dinosaur. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm feeling very connected in this, and I also had to start everything like you said. I had to find the people and create a group, and then move to Sweden and met Jan, and later we started Teater X, and then we also invited Päivi to come to work with Teater X, and there has been this longing to Finland also all the time, and we have talked about it several times with Päivi. We are so close. We should work more together. And then I don't know if it's that it's still different languages. So yeah, but I feel very related to this part of the playback world.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes.
Can
And
I say something?
yeah, of course.
Because of these dinosaurs, I have heard that it is very rare that these kind of things that are not meant for earning money mainly, that they don't survive the first generation, like that it is difficult to create the next generation. And I was just happy to see Ria here. Are you still here? Because she is one who is taking now responsibility in Finland to create the
here I
next
am.
generation. Yeah, so lovely to see you here and know that you will
Same
be
to you.
organizing the next gathering. So
You are the mother of
Yes,
Finnish playback.
pardon me?
You are the mother of Finnish playback.
Yeah, happily to be that, but it would be horrible if what I have been trying to give birth to, that it wouldn't go on. And I'm so happy that you are one of them who is going to take it further.
Okay, nice that you think in
Yeah.
that way.
I think that way. Yeah.
Yes, and maybe I would like to hear a little bit more about Päivi and Karin about this when you were talking about this. Remember our roots, that the story is the most important thing. So tell us a little bit more about that. I understand, of course, what you mean, but I would like to hear a little bit deeper about it.
Well,
so could you tell a little bit more about your idea?
Thank you for giving me this platform, because it's one thing that's really important to me. So Päivi mentioned that Jonathan did a whole performance they did a whole performance with fluids and long form story. This story has different names, but it's actually this form where the teller picks, together with the conductor, roles. The actors get assigned roles. Maybe one role is the ninja, which is not the given role, but then they collaborate in their roles. And this is, I think, the most challenging form. And I think that's why many groups stopped doing it. They invented their own things with forms which are less difficult. Where you don't connect, you choose your role, you do randomly a bit what you think is okay. But if you have this structure, it's Joe Salas said, and Joe, I don't know whether you're still here. I hope it's okay that I quote you, but you wrote and you said that this is the soul of playback theater, this form, because it really, if it's done well enough, it doesn't need even to be done super well, but well enough, it really brings out the depth of a story through the connection of the roles and through the collaboration of the different roles together. So it's really a crucial form to keep on learning and to keep on doing. And it's a very challenging form, but it's very rewarding as well. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it clear for you? And yeah, I mean, I'm very, if you want to okay.
Yeah,
maybe
I think also that
you want to add.
the magic happens in this when people are in working together, and now I forgot what is this communication, like there it happens, and how you manage that, and how you bring all these offers to flourish on the stage. And of course that you by doing that you also give the big space for the teller the big respect of the story, and you give time for others to really get into the telling.
And then maybe Jonathan, you're here. Maybe you want to, I mean, you're the expert.
Well, again, you both said it well, so it's I mean, you know, there's maybe an issue between the roots and the tradition and what some people call classic playback theater, and new forms and innovation in playback theater. And I don't think they're in conflict, or they shouldn't be in conflict. I mean, ideally, a new practitioner finds a way to learn what classic playback is through training or at a conference. And then, of course, you go your own way. You develop your own way to do playback in your own community, in your own culture. And many of the innovations in playback, many of the forms that we do use and that are used all over the world did not come from the original company. You know, they came from you who created them once you had been exposed to and learned playback.
And I think it takes a creativity to renew the old, that you just don't repeat, because sometimes when it's said that you do the classical playback as if it's something less than the new, something special and fancy, but how to do things so that they are alive, even though the form is the same. And at the same time, I use myself something that has never been done before. It's also nice, but not in the cost. Yeah, exactly, balance.
Yes, a really important topic. And a different one is from Johnny Jablonka from Australia. He's writing, "Thank you, Päivi, for your modeling the way that deep commitment to place can grow strong practice. Karin, your work illustrates the great privilege those of us who can engage globally derive this great benefit of connection. In our breakout, we spoke of a wish for the future of stronger global inclusion. The reality is many playbackers globally will never be able to travel. Many cannot even access this kind of Zoom event. In every story, if we don't look at the shadows, we are not honoring the whole story," Johnny is writing. Do you have a comment?
No, I just really wrote there to share those thoughts. Yeah, and I think those were some things thinking that came out of the part that I heard here. I did want to say something about the long form story form, or I don't know.
Johnny, can I just quickly interrupt and add a little piece to what you said before? Because right now, the community of playbackers is actually enabling a Cuban group to come to Salamanca. So that's a very nice way, you know, to, it's a private initiative and money is collected so they can come. I just wanted to add that.
I know, and that's wonderful. That's a wonderful thing. Okay. The floor is open to this topic, Karin. I'll respond.
Sorry that you wanted to.
I know about this group. I was in Cuba in January. I was very, very lucky to be there with Sveta and others.
Me too. Yes, and we are organizing.
I know all about the process that has brought that to bear. The reality is that maybe because of visas and fundraising, maybe 4 people out of a giant Cuban playback community, maybe 4 people will get to Salamanca. Maybe we won't know until they get off the plane, really. But let's face it, that's not the same impact. And Yorka has had involvement in Cuba, and so it's Jonathan and others. It's not the same as sharing that with the whole Cuban playback community in the way that some of the missions and visits there have been able to do, and in the way that people connecting, in those ways. So I don't really want to have a debate about what's better. I just want to open the thinking to more broad inclusivity. And inclusion is not just traveling to conferences. So one of the key things that we've been working on, a team of people from all the continents, is how can we connect in ways that don't require people to travel. And stay tuned for some things that maybe might come to pass for the next conference and around the next conference, where people can connect globally in a decentralized way. We're working on it. We're working very hard on it.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, we're with you. So we are going to the end of today's session of For Generation Speak series, but I want to give possibility for someone else to join before our speakers to say their last words. So if there's something you want to say, share. Also, I invite again people who were founders or co-founders of the societies in Europe to say a few words, to present yourself. So these are these final moments we have now that you can join. Yes, Sine?
Yes, I'm thinking about a woman that should perhaps be in this meeting, but she can't because she left this world. Kristina Hageltorn from Sweden, and I just feel I want to honor her contribution to this part of the playback world. So when I moved to Sweden and I started playback in Norway and then Sweden, there some groundwork had been done. Christina had been spreading to here and to York and to several places with the international group, and later she worked with our company, and we picked up one favorite form that we love to use, that is the poet, the dancer, musician. And somehow just wanting to name her in that's her spirit is also in Norway. She has done training, not so it has been some parallel worlds, and at least here in Norway it's like it's starting to connect more, but
She
she's
can
not.
come to Bulgaria too.
Yeah.
And there was this group, the Theatre of Spontaneity International, where we were many of us in the beginning.
Yeah, because you were there,
I
right?
was there, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think Aviva was in that group.
Aviva was also.
Was Anne Tenne in that group as well?
I think so.
Because you also should, it's also time to honor her. She was the one who brought playback to Europe, basically.
Can you
And
say
was
the
very
name again,
first-
please?
Annette Henne.
Yeah.
She founded the first playback company in the German-speaking room. And from there, everything spread from her. And together with Christina, no? And yeah, so. And she also died this year in Bali.
Oh, I didn't know.
She died, yeah.
And
She was also
Veronika
part of the first leadership class, as I remember.
She was, yeah.
Wow.
And Veronika Needa, you can also, if you have some memory with her, we all have maybe some memory with her, but also it's important to mention her huge work in a playback theater society.
Yeah.
Yes. So we are going near to the end. Before I say a few final words, please, Karin and Päivi, say whatever you want for the end of this interview.
I just want to say thank you for organizing this so well. And then for this whole community, it is lovely to be part of this. And now when I hear your voices and feel your way of communicating, I I used to cry a lot. I cry a little, very much less nowadays, but this touches me that this is kind of a community where I want to belong, and it feels like that I have not given my time or life for vain, for all I have given it to something very worthwhile, and that's important. So thank you that you exist, and also Johnny, it's also dangerous to be with out of this bigger community. I realize it because it's so easy to be lazy in Finland and not to travel these long ways. It's the same with Australians. You are so far away that it's difficult to come together, but it is very important, and we have to find a way how we can be together. And this is also for Ria. We have to find a way to somehow make our community more international. It was that in the beginning, but now it's... So thank you.
Thank you, Päivi. Karin?
I also want to thank the center and especially you, Zveta, for this series and how careful and well you did it and how you guide the interviews. It was great to have you, my playback friends, of whom I know many, here with you. It was great to look back. So yeah, thank you for being on this journey with us, with me. And I hope we will meet soon again in one way or other, live or Zoom or in spirit, or maybe, I don't know, we come up with other ways of meeting in a kind of spiritual cloud, which would be also great. No emissions for the environment. And yeah, I'm aware that I'm very privileged in my playback and in my other life. So that's just how it is. But yeah, but thank you everybody for being here, and yeah, do a lot of playback, enjoy your life, go crazy, do what you love to do. Life is short.
Yay. Thank you both so much for your vitality, wisdom, and inspiration. And it was a real pleasure for me. And thanks also our technical team, Demjova Putieri, Igor Lubitov. And before we finish, I want to invite you to the next interview, the First Generation Speak series, October 19th, a special conversation with Ben Rivers, Farah Vardani, and Sulinda Kaj, sharing stories and perspectives from Arab-speaking playback theater community. And we will finish this series in November 19th with Leslie Palmer, Samson Setumo, and Kathy Borowski representing Africa. And of course, on November 10th, we will celebrate the 50th birthday of Playback Theater with a global gathering, a chance for us all to come together, share stories, and honor the vision that began in 1975. Playback theater was created to remind us of our shared humanity, even in times of conflict and uncertainty. This art form invites us to keep listening, to keep holding space for each other, and to keep building bridges where there are walls. Let's stay connected. Let's keep the conversation alive, and let's continue shaping the future of playback theater together. I'm Zveta Baliska, and it was an honor for me to be with you this evening. Thank you all so much. See you next time. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Karin, come.
Thank you, Sveta.
Let's talk, Fabi, how we make it possible.
Päivi, so nice to know you through the home group in South Africa.
Yay.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Good night, good morning.
It's good to leave with missing you already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Riia, soita mulle.
Bye, Nike. Bye-bye.
Hi, Karin.
Bye, Sveta. Bye, Ria. Thank you for your question.
Yes.
Ivy, my old Paul.
Yes.
Hi, Päivi.
Bye-bye, Nike. Yeah.
See you soon in real life. I hope so.
Yeah.